Hello guys and girls, welcome back to another episode of RedMana Madness. Today's episode we are going to do a deck tech or deck talk, so to speak, on a recent commander deck that I recently put together, and that commander deck would be for Go-Shintai of Life's Origin. Cards I've been huge fan of. I like the idea of shrines. I think the artwork, especially from Kamigawa, is always absolutely beautiful, and I've just been drawn to it, and I've been inspired to or have the urge to make an actual functioning commander deck. So I've managed to put some cards together, and I've managed to actually test this deck out and have a little go on it. It did okay, to be fair, considering the 5 colors that that's required for the commander to activate its graveyard recurring ability. But overall, I thought it did pretty well considering of the basic approach to it. It is very basic, but yeah. So let's get into it, I guess. Before I start this video, let me just tell you a little something. This channel's whole purpose is to broadcast and promote my eBay shop, RedMana Madness. Every card you see in this video, you will see in eBay. I do my research analysing the demand to know a good price point. I work out to find the right price so you can get the best price. And it doesn't end there. I also sell bundles and accessories essential to your MTG plays. So after you watch this video, of course, head over to my eBay shop at www.ebay.co.uk/str/RedManaMadness, or click in the link in the description below. Now, let's start the video. So yeah, let's talk about the deck and show what it's all about. So the first card I'll show is the commander itself, Life's Origin. So it's a simple 4 mana cost, 1 green. It's a 3/4 with I guess its main ability is to create extra shrines whenever you play a shrine. So you whenever the Life's Origin or another shrine enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 colorless shrine token, which is this bad boy. So you put one of these in, basically. So pretty simple stuff. The idea behind, I guess, the ultimate strategy for this deck per se is to flood the battlefield with shrines and gain the benefits from them. So you play a shrine, you create a shrine. Play another shrine, create another shrine. At the beginning of your upkeep or the beginning of your end step, you gain those benefits from those shrines. I'll go through those in a second. So that's basically it in a nutshell. And then have supporting creatures or supporting enchantments to help protect or buff or boost the shrines themselves, so to protect them from removal, or especially with his ability, maybe a little bit more graveyard recursion. That's the idea behind it, because there's lots of shrines in here where they do damage, or they make you discard cards, or they make you destroy creatures, and you can just slowly remove things, put 1/1 counters on things. So there's a wealth of benefits from the shrines, depending on which shrine you play, and again how many shrines you have. So yeah, so that's the commander. Let's move on to the other shrines. I'll show you the other shrines. So these are the ones I'm missing. I know I'm missing 2 shrines at the moment from the original Kamigawa collection, because I have 3. I have black, red, and blue. I need the white and green. So yeah, so we have the Seeing Winds. At the beginning of my upkeep, draw a card for each shrine I control, so card draw. There's quite a bit of card draw in this as well. You'll see with the supporting creatures that whenever I play an enchantment, which is shrines and amongst other things, I get to draw a card, or I gain life and draw a card, or put a 1/1 counter and draw a card. So there's lots of card draw in this as well. So the Seeing Winds, the Hoden of Infinite Rage. So this one, it deals damage to target creature or player. So the idea is hopefully if I get to a point, if I'm able to control the board or stay alive, having 10 shrines, beginning of my upkeep, 10 damage to a player. Boom, just straight up like that. The Knight's Reach, keep them in check with the discard. Target opponent discards a card. I could just go around the board, pick this player, that player, then the next player, and force discards and make things much tougher for them. The Shared Purpose allows me to pay 1 at the end step. So these ones have beginning of my upkeep ones, so the beginning of my turn, and then end step abilities as well, where I create colorless spirits. So I can have blockers, attackers, maybe buff them with 1/1s as well. This one, okay, it's just for the sake of it being shrine. I don't think I would ever mill anyone out in Commander, but milling has its uses in my opinion, especially if someone's hoping to get something really, really good, and they don't have much graveyard recursion themselves, you know, making them lose an opportunity to draw cards that they want might be beneficial. The Hidden Cruelty and the end step, destroy a target creature. You know, if it costs 6 CMC, destroy it if I have 6 shrines. That's quite handy. Another one that does damage to player or planeswalker, the Ancient Wars. It's a nice one as well. And in this one with the +1/+1 counters with the Boundless Vigor. So yeah, more counters. This one allows me to add mana. So these ones were creatures similar to my commander, but these ones are just regular shrine enchantments. They just go on the side, but pre-combat. So now I have, if I get one of these out, it's upkeep, pre-combat, and end step that I'm gaining triggers on each turn, which is quite good. So X mana of any one color, so that's not too bad. So the Stone Fangs as well, loses X life, I gain life. That's quite handy. What am I getting that? It's only 2 as well, so get that out. Boom, gaining life. They're losing life. That's each opponent as well, so that's pretty big. That's probably, that could potentially be like the best, maybe one of the best ones, because it's each opponent. And if I can get like, you know, 10 to 15 shrines out, especially with my commander creating the little 1/1s, you know, so I only need to get like 5 or 6 out, and I just basically double it. So 5 or 6 shrines, double it thanks to my commander, and that's 10 life each opponent's losing. This one as well is quite handy for tapping as well. Activate its ability, each less shrine you control, so if I can have at least 5, it's 1 white. Prevent maybe big creatures from attacking me on my opponent's turn. Discarding land cards or shrine card. So with the graveyard recursion, especially if I was to have the Sanctum of All, I can search my library or graveyard for a shrine card, so I could discard a shrine, say the Calm Waters, and then with the Sanctum of All, return it, play it, or do whatever, and it's, you know, get the benefits again, get the triggers. So post combat, may draw X cards for the number of shrines I control if I do discard a card. Yeah, the Sanctum of Hidden Heights deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker again, so more removal, so just removal on demand basically, which is really, really handy. And then the Sanctum of All, this one is actually a really pretty card. This is really, really nice. You may search your library or graveyard for a shrine, put it into the battlefield. If you search this way, shuffle it. And then if ability of a shrine you control triggers, while you have 6 or more shrines, it triggers an additional time, so double triggers. So massive, massive, massive. And that costs, was it all 5 colours, Wooburg. So yeah, so that's the idea, is just flood the board with as many shrines as possible, and reap the benefits and the rewards for them. To get there though, because it's 5 colours, to place, or 1 or 2 of them, especially with the graveyard recursion with the commander, you know, I've got some very basic ramp, so to speak, with some mana rocks and some other creatures. So this is all just like kind of things I've just thrown together because it's what I had at the time. This creature plant, I can't pronounce this, the Carotid, you know, taps for any 1 mana. And then if I got a power 4 greater, 2 of any mana. So the any color is helpful for sifting through. So if I need white, I can get the white. Azusa, Lost but Seeking, play additional lands. So this is quite handy. So I could just empty my hand and put as many lands as possible on the battlefield to help get that to get the colors that I need. Enter the Unknown, play additional land this turn. So another one that allows me to play additional lands. Only for the turn, but it gets to put a 1/1 counter on as well with the explorability. Kadama's Reach, you know, ramping up, getting those lands that I need, searching for them. Cultivate as well, I get to search for lands. Layer the Land again, searching for basic lands. It's just, you know, it's only a couple, to be fair. It probably needs improving and getting a few more. The mana rocks are the usual for the moment, the Soaring and the Arcane Signet. Could probably do with the Mind Stone. I'll have to get hold of the Mind Stone and decide what I'm going to do with that. And then the Timeless Lotus. I put this in here because I'm playing 5 colours and this taps for 1 of each of the colours. I know it's 5 mana and it's extremely slow, comes in tapped. But, you know, this is not an early game win con kind of deck. It's more for like a mid game. Like you set up for the mid game, try to survive maybe and then win in the long game. The idea behind it is to get your lands out, you know, try and get your 5 colours at least minimum. Play some supporting creatures where if you was to play an enchantment, you draw a card. A good example of that would be, or even gaining life. So whenever you play an enchantment, you gain life. So in the middle of the game, if I'm down to like 20 odd life, then I start dropping all these enchantments on all these shrines. I get that life back, hopefully. Just have a look. Where's a good example? So yeah, so the Setzian Champion is draws a card whenever I play, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield. The Harvest's Hand as well is another one. Drawing card, gaining life, drawing card, drawing card. There's a fair bit where I draw cards thanks to the fact that I'm playing the enchantments. So as I'm dumping my hand out, and now that I've got the mana that I want and the lands that I need, play the shrines that I need, playing enchantments, drawing cards, refilling my hand, rinse and repeat. So that was kind of like the idea behind it. A few little utility creatures to help buff the enchantments as well. Get to search for a few bits as well. Hopefully search for those 3 or less mana costing shrines that I need, or other enchantments that I might need depending on the time of the play. So the Enchanter, Commune with the Gods as well. You get to search for some enchantments. I think for 2, look at the top 5 and potentially get something really big. I feel like it's quite handy, especially with the Graveyard Recursion. I don't mind, because then Go-Shintai, Life's Origin, can just get that back. So, if I was to pick out a really good one, but then dump into my graveyard 2 other really good enchantments or shrine, I'm not too fussed, because my commander can just fetch it. A couple of creatures, I might have to try and see if I can find maybe a couple more that helps reduce the cost of my enchantments as well. I think that'd be quite handy, but I've got the Naturalist and the Corsair, the Pegasus, so they're all like 1 less. Again, just more utility creatures to help reduce the cost for them. What's this one do? Another one, whenever land enters, gain life. The Geist again, gain life. Just a few, just to help me, just to survive that extra couple of turns. If I'm able to like play a few bits, gain 5 or 6 life maybe, and just keep me in the game for a little bit longer, because I'm looking for that mid game. So if I'm up against like faster decks, pinging me for damage, hitting me for here and there, hopefully I can try and gain that back. The Heliod as well allows me to return an enchantment from my graveyard to hand, so that more graveyard recursion. Plus he's a 4/4, it's not too bad. An enchantment again, so I get the triggers. To be fair, I can't remember what he does on the back. Spells you cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. Oh, okie dokie, so I assume I could play creatures at instant speed. Would I be able to play creatures? I'll have to check the ruling on that one, actually, to be fair. Maybe someone in the comments can confirm if I can play creatures at instant speed on other people's turns. So if someone's drawn like, 5 or 6 cards, I could play this, or something at instant speed, if that's the case, maybe, or something, or maybe something else. The Invasion of Chandelier, if I'm not mistaken. Again, the Graveyard Recursion brings something back. And the enchantment on the other side is actually pretty handy as well, if I ever do get to defeat it with, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. So that's quite handy, so I can just put something without casting it. Just again flood the board, with the things that I need, maybe shrines for example, Resurgent Belief, more Graveyard Recursion. That's quite handy, because that's all. So if I've suffered a couple of board wipes and my graveyard is pretty big, that can get everything back basically. The Resurgent Belief, that's a really good card. Another one for a bit more flavour. It gets more power with more Devotion to Green, and I get to add an additional 1/1 counter on everything that I cast. So all my shrines that are creatures, 1/1s. Utility creatures, 1/1s. This one, Swell the Weaver of Harmony, gives everything 1/1, and I get to copy a target activated ability. So if I was to use my commander and return something from the graveyard, I can copy that ability by paying 1. That would be quite handy. It'd be a nice little combo to do. Things that get bigger when I play enchantments as well. +1/+1. Get to have return this to my hand as well, from the graveyard if it never dies. A Generous Visitor, a 1 green mana that could potentially turn into a 6/6 at some point, or maybe even bigger with all the enchantments I play. Again, with this one, I can get massive with all the enchantments, and I get to have card draw. That's a good card. And all that glitters, and we all know what that does. Playing nothing but enchantments. And I have a couple of artifacts, so potentially putting that on one of my creatures, I could make a 12/12 just like that, which would be really cool, depending on the board state, I guess. Gain life and draw, more utilities with the card draw, just so I can keep my hands as full as possible. The Enchantress as well. And then I've got a few other creatures as well that just gives a bit of flavour, I guess, that just do certain nifty little things. So with Tatsunari, it seems like a no-brainer, considering he creates that token, and whenever I play an enchantment, I gain life and everyone loses life. That seems quite handy. Maybe just to keep things, like I say, trying to keep things for the long game or the medium game. This guy might just keep me alive just for a little bit longer. And this one gives everything ward essentially. So yeah, all my enchantments have ward, protection. Trying to keep my enchantments alive. I don't want people to be removing them, and if they do, there's attacks to it. And the others are encounter hexproof as well. All enchantments with hexproof. That's probably the biggest bit about that, preventing people from targeting my stuff. So that's a quite good one. I quite like the look of that. And he's only 3 as well, quite cheap. Another one that gives things hexproof. The archetype of endurance. Sorry for the glare on that one. Another one that gives protection. The life's bounty. If I sacrifice him, gain protection from a color. Again, just protecting things. This one, I put him in here because of the hexproof, but I might take him out. I'm not too sure how circumstantial this is. I get the feeling if anyone was going to play a spell that targets anything, it will most likely target my creatures or my enchantments rather than me as a player. He might go. I get the feeling some people might agree with me on that one. Extinguish All Hope as a bit of interaction. Destroy all non-enchantment creatures, so a board wipe's quite handy. Prevent all combat damage with the... I can't pronounce that. I'm not going to give my editor the opportunity to kill me on that one.
But why?
So yeah, destroy target creature enchantment with Mortify. Lull, prevent all combat damage, again, just to try and survive for a little bit longer. It's a nice cheap one removal if something target, just to target another black creature. Dark Betrayal, Fracture as well, pretty handy one to have. Infernal Grasp for cheap as well, destroying target creature. I think I need a little bit more interactions. That's basically there. These couple of cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is my interaction. I have a 100 card deck, 7 cards that interact with other things. That might need improving quite substantially. The other regular enchantments I have on the side to just, I guess, help or boost or buff my current board state and the like. You know, Glorious Sunrise, the mana, 1/1 counters till the end of turn, and trample. Gain 3 life. Draw a card if I have a creature of power 3 or greater. That I don't think it's going to be too difficult. At least my commander's 3, so I can have a commander out this, gain 3 life, or sorry, draw a card. Hunting Ground seems quite good. I would expect with the shrines, you know, I know a lot of people say that shrines are quite powerful. I would be a target quite early on, and I'd end up losing quite a few creatures and as such. So having 7 or more cards in my graveyard, I don't think would be a difficult thing to accomplish. So having this ability with the Hunting Grounds, I think would be quite easy to achieve. So that'd be quite handy. Search my library again, a little bit of ramp on this one with the Saga enchantment. Plus I get a big creature out of it. Creatures you can control get a +1 again, and additional tapping for mana. Seems quite good. Creating tokens whenever I cast an enchantment. 4/4 Flying Angels, that's pretty big. Azusa of Many Journeys, so I'm going to keep my thumb out of the way. Play an additional land this turn, again with the ramp, gaining life. What does Azusa Many Journeys turn into, sorry. When it comes blocked, untap 3 lands you control. That's not too bad. So play something on my second main phase, I guess, or something. Smothering Tithe. Whenever they draw, create treasure tokens. You know, again, I need the ramp. Getting the colours in there, I guess, would be quite helpful. This would be really handy with all that glitters, because the tokens count as artifacts. So if I was fortunate to have this early in the game, and I've got 7 or 8, maybe more treasure tokens plus the enchantments, I could potentially play all that glitters and create something that's massive. This one, I'm not too sure why I put this in here, to be fair. I think I just threw it in there because it was an enchantment and it looks kind of good. Yeah, I'm not too sure with that. It's probably got no business being in this deck, but it's there for the moment. I might replace that with something with more interaction, maybe a counter spell. I'm running a little bit of blue and I've got no counter spells, so it might be a good idea to actually have that instead. Hydra's Growth, when it enters, put 1/1 counters on again. Beginning upkeep, double the number of 1/1 counters. Considering I've got a couple of occurrences where I'm putting 1/1 counters on things, I thought it'd be a good idea to put this in, just so I can double it. And again, with the New Horizons, either put it on the land for tap through for 2 mana, and the 1/1 counters on target creature. So again, yeah, I'm not too sure about this one, but yeah, it's just running through the mindset of like I need mana, I need counters, because that seems to be the sub theme, so to speak, is just putting counters on everything. So yeah, Underworld Dreams. There's a little combo I want to do with another card. I can't remember what it is, where you can target a player to draw half their library. Basically a potential game ender. Like if I need to just remove someone from the game, if this is out, I could just cast this, have them draw 50 cards, and they'll lose 50 life as a result of it. So a little combo with this and another card. I honestly can't remember the name of it though. But you lose half their life rounded up, and they lose. Then they draw half their library rounded up. With this out as well, pinging them for 1 damage per card they draw. It's just a player killer basically. So that was the reason why that's in there. So I need to get the other cards so I can actually create that combo. Primal Empathy as well is another one where you get to put 1/1 counters on things and draw cards if they're really, really big. So again, drawing and counters. Seems to be the sub-theme is draw cards, counters, draw cards, counters. To try and make big creatures and keep up with everyone else. Because I assume by the mid-game, everyone's going to have really large creatures or really powerful creatures. At least where, with me as well, if I'm a bit behind where I'm trying to get the colours that I need with my lands and get the right mana out and the right creatures out, I can at least also put counters on my stuff to hopefully keep on top of that and catch up. That's my trailer thought. Lands, I've got a couple of. I've only got a couple of, like, say for example, the shock lands to try and when it comes to searching for like a swamp or a forest, I can search for this. So I got, I think, 2 shock lands. I know in terms of the land base, it's very, very basic. Like if anyone's going to say anything, it's going to be like more shock lands or more fetch lands. I don't have a single fetch land in this as well, to be fair. So I got ping lands, command tower, another ping land. Again, it puts 1/1 counter on a target legendary creatures to the end of turn. I just thought counters, put it on. Then just dual lands, but they're tap lands, so they're very, very slow. The mana base is very, very, very slow. Another one, gain 1 life, taps. Maximum hand size, I thought with the card draw. Might need to put another one in there that gives me another item, another card that gives me maximum hand size as well. That's the other shock land, the steam vents. Draw a card, I just thought maybe a draw ability. The rest are all basics, I think, now. Comes in tapped, gain 1 life. 2 or more lands, again, that's not a bit, that's a bit better. If I got 2 or more lands, it comes in untapped. Another one, tap land for a thingy. Myriad Landscape, at least I get to search for 2 basics with this one. So I'll plug that in there. And if I need red and blue, I could pay 2, look for the red and blue. So I thought that was quite handy to have in there. Another one that pings for 1. And the Shattered Spires, another one, another tap land. Oh, this is the card that I drew from the Commander draft, and I thought I'd put that in there as well. Going to have more than 2 opponents, so that'd be quite handy to have. And yeah, and the Sulphur Falls as well. So very, very basic lands. So I know if anyone was to comment, it most likely would be to sort the lands out if I'm playing 5 colours. I mean, there's 36 lands in here total. But I think most people will probably be saying, like, sort the lands out first. You need to have shock lands so you can play your lands faster, get the colours that you need faster, and then get your creatures out for a little bit faster as well. So that'll probably be the first thing. Maybe the mana rocks as well. Some of my friends voted against the Timeless Lotus. I think it could be handy. Like, I mean, if I've got my lands out and I need to activate, the idea was if I need to activate Go-Shintai's ability, all I got to do is tap for Wooburg, tap again, return something. I don't have to touch my lands. So that was the idea. It might be a bit circumstantial in terms of its actual use. I don't know, but that's it. So yeah, that's essentially it. Really, is so that's the deck as a quick look at, I guess, and a quick discussion. The ultimate strategy is to just flood the board with shrines, loads and loads of shrines. Beginning, middle, and end step of my turn. Gain those benefits, do damage to this, force this person to discard that, tap this thing down, gain this much life, deal this that much damage, mill this many cards, boom, 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 and then, have, utility creatures to support the shrine, so to speak. So I play a shrine, draw a card because of this, play a shrine, do this because of that. Shrines are now 1 less because the Corsair is out or something, for example. Or the other one, the Naturalist is out, so all my shrines are 2 less now, so that'd be quite handy to have at some point. So yeah, and then just hopefully force my opponents in a position where they cannot play almost, or where my creatures are so big, they got no choice but to submit to it. Like I can just go in with something really large, 12/12 with trample with one of my shrines because I've just got so many counters on it. The hexproof as well, they hopefully. It help answers the lack of interaction where instead of removing other people's things or countering other spells, they have hexproof anyway, so it doesn't matter. They can't use the spells regardless. So that was my thought process behind it. Yeah, and then ultimately, that's it. You know, try and build up for the medium game. Start overwhelming with the board and my shrines and stuff and the enchantments, and then hopefully just win the old-fashioned way, pummel them to death. Or, you know, everyone's gonna be like, "Where's the Ristic Study? Where's Teferi's Protection?" It's like, bruv, I'm not rich, so I don't have those cards. If I did, they'll be in the deck. We'll have to look for cheap alternatives. So yeah, but yeah, like yeah, I'm actually quite happy with it so far. I really like the look of it. I like the enchantments. I think it's really nice. I like the shrines. I think they're beautiful, especially all my Kamigawa stuff. I'm a huge fan of the art. I mean, I think that's amazing. But yeah, that's about it. I guess that will come to the conclusion of the deck tech, I guess. You know, any ideas? I mean, I think on a closing thought, maybe some flicker abilities I thought might be a good idea. If I do eventually, if someone does eventually get rid of hexproofing, or if someone does come through with a destroy creature spell or something, or exile spell like Swords to Plowshares or something, maybe some flicker abilities. Like if they target my commander, I could, you know, play an instant, exile him, return him to the battlefield at the end step or something, or straight afterwards, to then re-engage him and trigger him, create another shrine, for example, because when he enters the battlefield, creates a shrine. So that'd be quite good. So if someone was to try and remove certain things, maybe use a couple of flicker spells to answer for those things. That was one thing I was thinking of doing. Maybe let me know what you think. But anyway, if you've got any questions, or if you've got any ideas your own of any cards that I may have missed that might go really well with this, you know, leave a comment. Let me know what you think, and let me know your ideas as well. Like, name a few cards, like this card will go good here, or blah 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 blah. Or yeah, you might even agree with me with the flicker effects. They might be quite handy to have. So yeah, that's it. Deck tech number 2 in the book. So yeah, but yeah, guys, I've droned on long enough, nearly half hour, with my boring voice. So I'm gonna love you and leave you on this one. Leave a like, comment, that'd be great. I want to hear your opinion. Like, let me know what you think about the deck. Do you think, you know, it's really slow and it really does need an improvement? Most likely, yes. If you've got any ideas with the lands, any ideas of other creatures, and yeah, like, you know, let me know about your opinion. So yeah, leave a comment and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Boom. Have a good one.